Spring practice day 2. Let's recap. What's going on, Canes fans? Spring practice day 2 is officially a wrap, and I'm here to give you a summary of everything that went down. And don't forget that throughout this video, at times, I'm going to have some clips and highlights playing from practice today. But before we dive in, I do feel like it's important to at least mention that there's a reason why the focus has been on offense for day 1 and day 2. And that's mostly because there's just not a whole lot of contact right now. You know, they're not practicing in full pads, so there's not as many opportunities for the defense to make a play outside of, you know, a pass breakup here and there. So you're not going to hear about big hits or, you know, guys stripping and creating a fumble and a scoop and score or anything like that. But there will be more videos about the defense, and we will talk about them. And we will talk about the defense a bit in this video on the tail end of it. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I haven't forgotten about the defense. There's just been a big focus on the offense right now. And with that being said, I will say that the biggest standout position group today was absolutely the wide receivers. And I'm sure this surprises absolutely no one, but wide receiver Xavier Restrepo continues to bring it every single day. Dawson came out and complimented him on his consistency, and Restrepo did have a big-time catch at practice today against the Washington transfer Powell that got everyone super excited. And after practice, they had interviewed Daryl Porter Jr., who, you know, is a pretty good corner for Miami. We have high hopes for him going into the 2024 season. And he said that he literally loses sleep at night after someone catches a ball on him. And boy, oh boy, did JoJo catch a ball on him today. He made Porter look a little silly. Porter tried to get hands on him, and JoJo just blew past him and caught what would be considered a touchdown pass from Jakari Brown. And that's not a shot at Porter necessarily because, you know, somebody's going to lose the rep, somebody's going to win it. But it is just pretty awesome to see when you're looking at JoJo, because that is a young guy coming in this season making a big-time play against someone who's a veteran on the defense. And also, Nye Carr caught a touchdown pass over Jadis Richard today, and Ray was super consistent as well. I have very good things to say about wide receiver Robbie Washington, who looked great out there in the slot during drills, and he looks as fast as ever and is really good at creating separation. So, as we've already kind of touched on, the wide receiver room is looking great. They're practicing phenomenal right now. They're making a lot of plays, but we're going to have to see if that continues once the pads are on. Now, as far as the quarterbacks go, Reese Poffenbarger is really pushing. I think that he's impressing the staff with his live arm and high football IQ, and you best believe that he is going to try to continue to fight for that number 2 spot. And it will be very interesting to see how he performs in the spring game. You know, there's a lot of competition in that room. You have Emory Williams, who, coming off of that injury, is looking like nothing ever happened. He looks 100% out there. So he's obviously going to be fighting for that number 2 spot. But then you have Cam Ward, who's been given the keys to this offense. And luckily, he looks the part. He really does. He's been making all the throws he's supposed to make. He's been working hard learning this offense. But I will say that Dawson didn't shy away from acknowledging his fumbling issue that he's had in his career before he got here at Miami. But he said that he sat down and watched every single Cam Ward fumble, and he believes that it's more of a focus issue as opposed to a ball security issue. I hope that he's right, and I just hope that either way that it can be corrected and it's not a problem here at Miami. He did also add that he's stressing to Ward that if he does have to scramble, he wants his eyes downfield. And I'm sorry, but not sorry. I've got to plug this clip in here when Dawson was asked about the tight ends. He had plenty to say but he ended it with this.
So that room is pretty talented, and so we're excited about that room for sure. Maybe y'all won't be asking me this year about getting the ball to the tight end.
As long as Elijah Arroyo stays healthy and some of the younger guys in that room step up, we better be throwing the ball to the tight ends more often this season. And if we do draw it up, Cam Ward needs to be looking their way. And I'm not specifically leaving out Cam McCormick. I know I said Arroyo and the younger guys, but you have to remember that we're basing everything during spring off of the guys that are participating in spring. So Miami, unfortunately, has quite a few injuries, and there are a lot of guys that are banged up or in recovery mode that they're going to try to integrate into spring, but it's only the second day of practice and they're not ready yet. So we're focusing on the guys that are out there and practicing. And, you know, in 2023, McCormick was used more as a blocking tight end, and we'll just have to see, you know, if that carries over into 2024. But I will say that Arroyo caught a beautiful long ball from Cam Ward at practice today, and I need to see more of that. Cristobal has been seeing a lot of reps at the left guard position, which I know has a lot of people upset. We'll talk about that more in the coming weeks, but we'll see what happens. And McCoy has been filling in for Mawanoa on the O-line. And it's been playing on the clip over here on the right-hand side of your screen. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Take a look at how big Markel Bell is next to Mario Cristobal, because Mario Cristobal, keep in mind, is not a small dude. He's 6'4", and I know that at times, you know, he's kind of crouched down and he's coaching him up, but Markel Bell is a literal giant out there. And in that drill, you might have to rewind it if you didn't catch it. Popo showed that he ain't scared though, because he went to work against Bell in some drills. And Cristobal has also been very hands-on with the O-line so far, which is to be expected because, you know, he played on the O-line at Miami. But it's still very nice to see. I love seeing the head coach get down and dirty down there, you know, on the practice field, getting hands on people. So you just love to see that. In the running back room, Citizen still looks nice and healthy out there. He does have a brace on his knee, but he hasn't shown any hesitation when it comes to putting pressure on it and making cuts and getting upfield. And Chris Wheatley Humphrey had the coaches very excited, literally jumping up and down with some of his moves today. That dude is fast. But shifting gears over to the defense to wrap this thing up, Robert Stafford was out there putting in some work. Nothing specific to report right now, but there's still a lot of high hopes for him. The staff was very high on him when he came in, and us fans are very excited about his potential future, myself included. New cornerbacks coach Chevis Jackson didn't have a whole lot to work with today, which, you know, was a little concerning whenever you first saw it, because Miami currently does have some depth issues at the cornerback position. But I will say that when he was out there getting busy with those cornerbacks, he reminds me a lot of wide receiver coach Kevin Beard. He's somebody that looks like he could be out there literally playing corner if you know, throw a helmet on him. But he doesn't mind getting down there and, you know, kind of showing the guys what to do and going through the reps and things with them. Like I said, you might even mistake him for another corner out there. And I love the energy that he brings. He's super vocal. And I like Chevis Jackson a lot. In the safety room, I would say that the guys that looked the smoothest out there today were probably Markeith Williams and Powell. But Savion Riley, the Vanderbilt transfer, has been getting a lot of reps with the first team defense. But again, there's a lot of shuffling in spring, so I don't pay too much attention to that, but I do like to mention it. And of course, Zaquan Patterson is still receiving a ton of praise, and he's been turning a lot of heads during spring practice, and that continued today on day 2. But that's really about it for the second day of spring practice. It's obviously impossible to cover everything in one little quick recap video, so there will be lots of extra streams and videos during the month of March, and we'll be live every single Friday, so you don't want to miss that. What I would like to see down in the comment section below is answers to this question. Obviously, there's a lot of hype going into spring practice because, well, it's Miami Hurricanes football. So we're all a little, extra excited. But I want to ask you what your biggest concern is right now for this team. And there's not a right or wrong answer. You're not being negative by answering this either. And I'll break the ice and I'll go first here. I would say one of my biggest concerns right now actually is the amount of injuries and guys that are recovering and guys that are missing reps during spring. Because even if some of those guys are veterans, so we say, well, they have a lot of experience, so it's okay. It's still crucial to be getting some reps here in spring. And I hate that we have some big-time players that are missing it. And honestly, some of the younger guys as well that I would like to see, getting more adjusted to the college level and the speed of the game. And they're going to miss the entire spring. So that's a little alarming. As I said, there were times when you looked at the cornerbacks, I think there was like 4 guys out there that Jackson was coaching up, literally just 4 of them. So that's a little concerning. And I just hate that so many guys are missing spring. It feels like we always have so many injuries and guys in recovery and just guys banged up in general. And it happens. It's not only Miami that's dealing with this issue, but you just hate to see it, man. And I hope that you guys did notice the clips that I had playing. I didn't mention it in the day one recap, but it was nice to see Emory Williams and Judd Anderson throwing to Ray after practice on day one. And I continue to mention that Judd Anderson is just freakishly tall. It's insane how big that dude is. But man, Emory Williams just has a buttery smooth throwing motion, and seeing them put in the extra work after practice is going to pay off. You love to see that. But let's chop it up down in the comment section below. Let's talk about spring practice in general. Spring practice day 2. Remember though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.